Hi, and welcome back to the LegalIn.com YouTube channel. We're all about educational and learning videos. Today's video is about the residential lease application. But before we begin, if you learned something from this video, remember to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell button to be part of the LegalIn.com world. Remember, LegalIn.com, the better way to legal. This video is for educational purposes only and is not meant to be a substitute for an attorney. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So when you come to our homepage, you'll see our 4 categories. Under real estate, you'll see right here will be the lease application. Let's go ahead and click on that. So if you've been on the hunt for an apartment, you know that once you find that apartment that you want, the landlord will typically give you a lease application to fill out. On the lease application, it'll gather information about the potential tenants, asking who they are, where they've resided, employment history, credit history, and other personal information. Usually the property owner or the property manager will then use that information in conjunction usually with other consumer reports such as a credit check or an investigative consumer report, as it's called in the state of California, to determine whether or not they want to give the tenant a lease. Usually, the landlord or the property owner will also then ask the potential tenant for a non-refundable fee that's typically equal to the fee that they've incurred for running the credit check. Then, once the application is in and the landlord or the property owner runs a credit check, if everything is good, then they'll approve the tenant for the apartment and then we'll sign a more formal lease. If rejected, then the tenant will usually receive a letter called a rejection letter that will also outline for them how they can obtain a copy of their consumer report and understand what happened. Usually it's also a good idea to include with this lease application a Fair Credit Reporting Act disclosure that can be found on our site, and I will show you where that is. So let's go ahead and begin. Today I'm in the state of New York. Go ahead and click on the state that you're in, and I'll take you to your state's documents. You come here, there's some information. And on every state, you'll see there is right here a link that will take you to that disclosure that I was discussing. So if you click on that link, as I'm doing here, it'll bring you to a page for the Fair Credit Reporting Act disclosure. Go ahead and select your state. And then you'll just want to download the document. It'll be right here. You'll click on it. You'll enter your email address. We don't ask for your credit card or any other information, and you'll get it. But for now, let's go back to our document, the lease application. I'm going to go back to the state that I'm in New York, and you'll see right here, this will give you instructions. It'll walk you through step-by-step instructions as we're doing on this video, and then you'll download the document. Again, no credit card, just your email, and the document will open for you in a fillable form of PDF right here. I've gone ahead and filled some of it out as we walk through the process. On the top, it'll be the date that the tenant is filling out this application. The first section is the rental property information. Here it'll identify the apartment or the complex or wherever that's being rented. For example, I put in the property addresses right here, and I put in the suite number as 402 or the apartment number, the monthly rent. And then over here it'll be date of anticipated possession, when the potential tenant would like to move in, and how long of a lease term they would like. Now, the lease term means that they want to lease for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, whatever that amount is. I'll fill that out. The tenant will fill it out with a lease starting date and a lease end. I put in a 1 year, so my lease would be from September 1st of 2021, and it will end on August 31st, 2022. Next section is the landlord's contact information. It'll have the landlord's name, address, and phone number as indicated right here. Then we come to the applicant's information. Here the potential tenant's information is filled out. You'll see there's the full name, the current address, a phone number, alternate phone number, and email address if there is one or if the tenant wants to include one is indicated there. Then it'll be the applicant's date of birth. We'll also ask for the social security number and a driver's license number. And the landlords were asked for that information in order to run that consumer report or the credit check that we were discussing earlier. Now, if there is a second applicant, right over here, this is the second applicant's information. The second applicant can be a roommate, a spouse, a partner. That person's information would go right here. If there are any children or minors who will be living with you, their information will be their name and their date of birth will be included in this section. Next section asks you about occupants. Occupants are who else will be residing with you at that address other than the applicant's names. So if grandma will be residing with you or whoever else it is, you'll put their full name here. Next section is right here. It's called pets. It asks, do you have any pets? If yes, how many and what are they? And then we'll come up to the next section where it asks you for the applicant's employment. This is where they gather employment history. You'll fill out your most current employment right here. If you're self-employed, indicate that here. You'll put in your employer's name, address, your position, and your supervisor's name and phone number who they can reach. Then you'll go to the previous position you've held before that. And then there's a question that asks, have you had any other sources of income? If yes or no, and if yes, please list that here. The second is the second applicant's information. If there is a second applicant, such as a spouse, a roommate, a partner, whoever that is, that information will go right here in this section. Then we have the applicant's residential history. Here it'll ask you where your current address is, who your landlord is. Here's your present landlord's name and phone number, what you're paying in rent, and when you moved in and when you're moving out. Then you'll go to that previous address and any other that there is, you'll list right there. Then it asks you for 2 personal references. That could be names of friends, co-workers, or anybody else who will talk highly of the tenant will be included here. Then it asks for an emergency contact. I've included my mother. You can include whoever you feel comfortable, your partner, your best friend, whoever it is you want. Then the next section asks for vehicle information. Here the landlord wants to know, do you have any cars? And if they are, will they be parking in or near the residential property? Then there's for banking information. Then here it asks you for your credit and criminal background. So if there was ever anything, here's the opportunity for the tenant to basically describe in their own words what happened, and then ask a couple questions. There'll be yes and no's. And then this is the background check authorization, asking the tenant for authorization to run the background check. And if there is a fee that will be paid, the landlord will fill out that amount here. Then there'll be the signature section. The first applicant will date and sign right here. The second applicant will date and sign right here. And then the landlord will date and sign right there. So that's the whole application. It's pretty easy to fill out. I hope this video was useful and helpful to you and you gained something. Please remember to give us a thumbs up and check out LegalToIn.com, the better way to legal.